She was 19 years old, a peasant girl who had single-handedly turned the tide of the 100 Years' War. But now, the woman who had crowned a king sat chained to a wooden block in a cold English fortress. She wasn't surrounded by the French army she once led, but by the very soldiers she had defeated, men determined to prove she wasn't a messenger of God, but a heretic who deserved only the fire. This is the story of Joan of Arc's final days. From her capture at Compiègne to the brutal political theater of her trial in Rouen, we will uncover the truth behind her imprisonment. We'll explore how a corrupt ecclesiastical court ignored its own laws to destroy a symbol of French hope, and how a teenage girl's unwavering faith in the face of psychological and physical torture eventually led to her becoming one of history's greatest martyrs. In May 1430, Joan was captured by Burgundian forces. She was the most valuable prisoner in France, but her own king, Charles VII, offered no rescue. Instead, the English paid 10,000 francs, the price of a small army, to take custody of her. They moved her to Rouen, the heart of English-occupied France. To the English, Joan wasn't just a soldier, she was a political weapon. If they could prove her visions were demonic, they could delegitimize the king she had helped crown. By January 1431, the stage was set. Bishop Pierre Cauchon, a man deeply loyal to the English, headed a court of 42 clerics. The charges were carefully chosen: wearing men's clothing, claiming divine visions, and refusing to submit to the church's authorities. From February to March, Joan endured a dozen grueling interrogations. The clerics tried to trap her with theological snares. When they asked if she was in a state of grace, they thought they had her. If she said yes, she was claiming a certainty only God could have. If she said no, she admitted her visions were false. But Joan's intelligence was sharp. She replied, "If I am not, may God put me there. And if I am, may God so keep me." Even her enemies were silenced by her wisdom. While the trial looked formal, her treatment was anything but. Law required her to be in a church prison guarded by nuns. Instead, she was kept in a secular military fortress, chained to a wooden block and guarded 24/7 by common English soldiers. She lived in constant fear of physical and sexual assault. This is the real reason Joan refused to stop wearing men's clothing. The tight laces and heavy tunics provided a layer of physical protection that a dress could not. Despite her pleas for safety and her failing health, her requests for the sacrament were denied. To the Earl of Warwick, she was a political asset that needed to survive just long enough to be legally murdered. By May 1431, the University of Paris declared her visions dead. Faced with the stake and exhausted by months of abuse, Joan briefly broke. She signed a recantation and was sentenced to life in prison, provided she wore a woman's dress. But the mercy was a trap. Days later, she was found back in men's clothing. While official records say she chose to return to it, witnesses later testified that her guards had stolen her dress at night, leaving her no choice but to put on the male garments to cover herself. This was the relapse the court needed. Under canon law, a relapsed heretic had no second chance. On the morning of May 30, 1431, Joan was led to the old marketplace of Rouen. She was tied to a high pillar so the crowd could see her clearly. As the flames were lit, she didn't curse her executioners. She asked for a cross. An English soldier, moved by her courage, made a simple one from 2 sticks. As the fire rose, she called out the name of Jesus until the very end. She was only 19. To ensure no relics remained, the English burned her body twice more and threw her ashes into the Seine River. The English thought they had erased Joan of Arc from history, but they only succeeded in creating a saint. 25 years later, a second trial declared her innocent, and in 1920, she was officially canonized. Joan's story is a reminder of the power of conviction against corruption. If you found this deep dive into history compelling, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation into the past. Like this video and leave a comment below. Did you know the real reason she wore men's clothing? Let's discuss it in the comments. Thank you for watching.